Vietnam?
Vietnam.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I pressed the wrong button, and you all couldn't hear me, but I heard Rahmane singing Baba Siri Chand. Thank you, dear.
My pleasure.
Who else is here? I know Jerry is here. I know Padam Dion is here. Who else is here?
Lisa's here.
Hi, Lisa. How you doing?
Hi.
You doing good?
I'm doing great.
Oh, good.
Yes,
good.
Thank you.
Who else is here?
Hari Munder.
Hi, Hari Munder.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm cold. It's we've had a huge snowy March.
Oh my goodness. Well, bless you, dear. Los Angeles is beautiful. It's going to be in the 70s all week.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's green and flowers and stuff. Who else is here?
Hello, Ruthie.
Hi, sweetie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good.
Good.
Padam Dion.
Hi, Padam Dion.
Aloha.
I heard you saying aloha earlier when I accidentally put myself on mute.
How's LA treating you?
Oh, it's so wonderful to be here. It's delightful. You know, I'm seeing people, and I am filming Guru Mayer's classes 2 days a week.
Excellent.
You know, his emotions, senses of the soul, oh, they are fabulous. It's quite an experience to be filming them, and then I'm totally caught up in his whole thing.
Oh,
it's great. And who else is here?
Ranjit.
Hi, Ranjit. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who else is here?
Sadanam.
Hi, Sadanam. How are you?
Real good.
Oh, I'm glad. I think you've already made an appointment in Pasadena, right?
Yeah, in April. I couldn't get any sooner, so I waited too long. A couple,
okay.
I think 2 weeks.
Okay, I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
Who else is here?
Guru Atma?
Hi, Guru Atma. I'm seeing you soon.
Yes.
That's great. I look forward to it.
Yes.
And who else is here?
Sadaka.
Oh, hi, Sadakal. How are you feeling these days?
I feel pretty good.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Thank you. Hope you're feeling great.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Now, who else is here? Anybody? Huh? I heard a small voice there. Who is that? Oh, okay.
There is Sohan Kaur. It wasn't me earlier, though.
What is your name, dear?
Sohan Kaur.
Sohan Kaur?
Yes.
Oh, welcome. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. So, who else is here? Anybody?
Carol from Juneau.
Oh, hi, Carol. How are you?
Good. Good morning.
Good, good. And so, anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. Well, let's get going. So please sit up straight. Long, deep breath. That's it. Long, deep breath. Concentration at the brow point. And really feel your breath. Feel your breath. What a precious thing your breath is, huh? Okay. So now, please inhale. Long deep breath. Long deep breath. That's it. Long deep breath. And now please begin heart breath. On the exhale, feel as though the air is coming out of your heart center. This is actually healing energy. Please allow it to flow. Good. Really open that beautiful heart. Good. And now please send it. Please send it to each one in this who's listening to this, whether you are listening live or whether someone is listening to the recording. Please join us. Good. And now please send this beautiful heart breath for peace. That is, peace within yourself, your family. Within your community. And peace within the nations and among the nations. That includes Syria, the whole Middle East. That's it. Good. Now inhale and exhale. And breathe. And Baba Siri Chand is here. He's sort of dancing, almost like a clown. And I'm saying, sir, why are you doing that? He says, to get your attention. He says, this is my wild distress signal. Okay, sir, what kind of distress are you talking about? He says, the distress of your own mind. He says it's hard to get your attention because when you are in your mind and it is taking off on its own, it's very difficult to interrupt it, to bring it to peace, to bring it to some kind of solace. He says, keep breathing, please. Keep breathing with your heart breath. He says, now, are you recognizing what I'm talking about? He says, understand. He says, sometimes you call it monkey mind. Monkey mind means it jumps all over the place. He says, yes, that happens. But what I'm talking about mostly, he says, is your inability to focus on who you are. He says, who you are is not a packet of worries. He says, if you got past the packet of worries, you'd find out who you were, are, will be forever. Keep up the breath. He says, first of all, you do reach it using the breath. He says, but you have to remember. You have to use the mind to cut through the mind. He says, that's quite a challenge. He says, you can use some other verbal clues. He says, if you get into the habit of, as soon as you get into that worry place or that funk place or that feeling blamed or annoyed, he says, as soon as you get into that, he says, if you can train yourself to regard that as a signal, he says, to do your heart breath. And he says, just jump into my sound booth. He calls it a sound booth. He says, if you can do that, he says, you shall make such huge progress. He says, now, he says, think of something that has been bugging you. Okay, he says, and now imagine me jumping all over the place. Like you call it, having hot feet. Trying to get your attention. Trying to bang on the window pane of your soul, he calls it. He says it is the mind that divides, that cuts you off from your soul. He says, okay, now open up to me. He says, if you want, I can always tell you a joke. He says, but you just give your worries to me. Give your funk to me. Give your not knowing, the fear, the insecurity. He says, just hand it over, for goodness sake. He says, that is not irresponsible. Some of you think, oh, your mind has to take care of all of these things so that you may be a responsible human being. He says, in fact, that's borderline irresponsible, he says. He says, at least you are taking notice of these things. That's the first order of the day. At least you are taking notice. He says, but the next thing is, if you truly want to solve it, he says, many things are not solvable by your mind. Some things are, so you just start with that level. He says, but it's like a tuning in level. But once the mind starts going in a downward cycle, you say, whoa, this goes beyond mind's capacity to handle this. He says, don't feel sad about it. Don't feel worried about it. He says, don't feel upset about it. He says, instead, understand that you are being given the very privilege, the very call to be who you are. He says, that's what it's about, being who you are. And that means that you join in for great help. You join in for great help. And that help would be me. He says you have many other helps as well. Oh, my God, you can imagine the pantheon of beings who are here to help you. He says, can you feel that? Can you feel that? He says, feel the great nourishment, the bolster within your mood, within your heart. He says, everybody here is here to help you. He says, why don't you take advantage of us? He says, why don't you allow us in? He says, do you like to stay in your muddle? Do you like to stay in your worry? Well, my dears, he says, this is not the time to let your boat get rocked. No, he says, because we have too much on our agenda for you to do in the future. He says, yes, this is an interdependency. He says, we rely on you to proclaim what comes through you from us. He says, you are all great teachers. He says, that is a given fact. You are great teachers. But he says, you cannot explore the greatness of that realm unless you are willing to listen. And then you pass that along. He says, do you understand that? First you have to listen, and then you can pass that along. Okay? He says that is a primary route. He says, let's start at home. He says, let's start listening at home. He says that place to start is the moment you can't handle a problem, you get worried about it, you get stuck in it. The moment you feel bad, the moment somebody has disclaimed you, you feel disoriented, you can't find your roots, you can't find the solution, that is the moment, dear ones, he says, to turn it over to us. And then open yourself, listen, be aware. He says that is what you must do. He says that is where, he calls it, that's where the glory comes from. Sir, what do you mean by glory? He says that means, he says, it's like the dawning of a new day when your problem is solved, right? It's like the sun comes out. It breaks into your gloom, your doom, your confusion, the darkness. He says, it is the glory of a new day. And he says you can have it whenever you want it. The question is, he says it's a 3-step program. It is recognizing that you when to do this. He says do it all the time, for God's sake. He says we don't keep business hours. He says we're here all the time. He says you choose. He says if you'd rather talk to Mother Mary, do that. If you'd rather talk to Jesus, fine. Talk to Soul, talk to Mother Earth. He says talk to all the saints and angels. He says do it. Do it. We're here for you. He says because we don't have any time and space, we never feel stressed out by the number of calls. He says we just feel happy when we can serve. That's all. We just feel happy when we can serve you, when we can serve your friends, your relatives. He says those that give you trouble. He says we love to serve them too. We put no boundaries on who we serve and how we serve. It's so simple. He says, but the first rudimentary act is realizing, he says, when you're in that deep doo-doo. Do you understand? You must recognize at that moment or even before. He says, you can ask us anytime. You can ask us to find your bus ticket in your wallet. He says, we can do that. He says, we can solve the very deep grief that may be in your heart. We can solve your troubles and your troublesome attitudes. All you have to do is ask. He says, so the next situation is asking. This is number 2 on the charts. Okay? Well, it doesn't mean in popularity, but it means in order. In order. So number 1 is recognizing. Number 2 is asking. Asking. Lifting up thine eyes to heaven. He said, have you heard that? That's what it means. Lift up thine eyes to heaven. Ask, and you shall receive. Have you heard that? And then you will get the answer. He says you will get the answer. That is number 3. Listen for the answer. Watch for the solution. Be aware that this is coming about. Know who you are. Be very aware of who you are so that you can understand that you will open and we will respond. It's too simple. He says, I do my dances to get your attention, but he says if you're too focused, one-pointed focused on the worry, if you are enjoying and wallowing in the difficulty, he says, it's very difficult to reach you. So you must reach us. You must reach us. Breathe, please. Okay, so now he's asking you, as he does, asking you to be very aware of some kind of difficulty, some kind of challenge. He says it could be as simple as finding your bus ticket. It could be as heavy as knowing how to go through the final stages of life, or helping a loved one do that. And everything in between. Do you understand? Everything in between. There is nothing that is out of our realm. So please become aware. Please become aware of something that is a conundrum, that is a weight, that is maybe even a fantasy, he says. Be aware of it. Be aware of it now. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2, call on us. Any one of us, all of us. He says, you may call my name. You may call their name. He says, do that now. And then formulate your question, your inquiry, your petition, your request for clarification, for solution. Formulate that. Just very kindly, humbly, call us in on the job. We're the fire department of the spiritual realm. He says, do you feel us there? Do you feel the comfort? Do you feel the letting go? Do you feel the letting go of holding on so carefully? He says it does not mean that you give up responsibility in everyday terms, but it does mean that you give up the responsibility for the solution to those who can really handle it. You've heard of delegate? You're delegating. Okay? This is not beyond our power. You understand? It is totally within our power to help you. He says you are our precious ones. He says all of humanity are our precious ones. It's just that folks have a hard time realizing the help they have available. Breathe. And he says, I am saying this over and over and over again to hopefully drive it home. to make it an indelible part of your consciousness, so you won't forget again. That's the reason why we're not just saying it in one breath and moving on. Okay, he says, now, please allow. Please, he says, allow the consequences of your plea for help. Do that now. Allow the consequences of your plea for help. That is, whether you get the answer now or whether you allow the situation to evolve. But it evolves when you let go of your worry. Your worry, he says, is a contract with yourself that keeps you in the dark, that blocks our intervention, that blocks our flow, to bring all back to equilibrium, to advance forward. He says, so please let go of the worry, because that is a tangle. And he says, your will supersedes our intervention. It supersedes our help. Do you understand that? You have that power. You have that power to either keep the tangle or turn it over to the experts. Be very aware of that. What do you choose? What do you choose? Now, if you forget sometimes, he says, don't turn around, turn it into another muddle and start blaming yourself and blah, blah, blah. He says, no, just say, oh, I forgot. And then he says, do your duty, which is being present with us, any one of us. He says, I can't say that one being is in first in line. He says, we are all here. We are all here to help the flow, the consciousness, the being, the flow of every bit of humanity. So I'm asking, well, sir, how come humanity runs into so many tangles? He says, I just said it. He says, it is an evolution, and part of this evolutionary trail is to lift up thine eyes and ask. That is part of the evolutionary trail. Path. Do you understand? So I am asking you to make the habit of lifting up. He says, now there are many other things that you can do in conjunction with this. He says prayer. He says this is a prayer. Do you understand? This is a prayer. Another is mantra. He says, and all the things that you know that balance you, that help you to go neutral, so you don't get stuck, so that you don't put that hood of darkness over your head and tie it tight. Oh my God. How many times have you done that? Well, you don't need to do it anymore. He says it's time to take the hood off so that you can fly. Have you ever seen those falcons that are kept? They put the hood on so the falcon won't fly. You put your own hood on so that you cannot fly. He says it's time to take it off now. Take it off so that you, in your prayers, in your being, can fly to the heavens. He says, and find your friends there who are your help, who are your solace, who are your expert problem solvers. He says, now let's talk about the solutions to these difficulties. If you hold on to what you want happen, and for it to happen in the way you describe, he says, again, that may be another tangle. Do you understand? Once you give it over, you have to give over any holding on to what the process will be, or giving over what the actual solution will be. Do you understand that? When you give it over, you let us take care of that. Okay, for instance, you may be in a job that you hate, that you cannot stand, that always gives you problems, okay? And so your desire may be that those problems may be cleared up and you may be happy in your current job. And yet, when you turn it over, you may find that those people let you go. You go, oh, how interesting. This is the way Baba Siri Chand or whoever is solving this difficulty. You let the happiness arise. Oh, my God, I don't have to deal with those people anymore. He says, but then the next thing is that you continue to give up the solution to your higher beings. He says, it's not quite the right word. We'll call it the more sublime beings. He says, and then you wait to see what comes along. You wait to see what comes along. It may be something that you think is totally beneath you, but you test it out. You test it out. We may provide you with a job or a situation that is beneath your judgment, but as you allow yourself to be humble and perhaps you join in, you may find total happiness there. Do you understand? You may find total happiness in your humility and in the place where you have been given. And you may find that your needs are actually covered. Do you see? It is a process. It is a process. This is the process of evolution, he says. The process of evolution. He says you do not run into these roadblocks just for the fun of it. He said you run into them so that they may be solved and you may move on. You may, what you call, ascend by letting go of the difficulties, the darkness, and the tangles to allow the preciousness, to allow the humility, to allow the greatness, to allow the constant intervention of these beautiful qualities that are leading you forward. He said, have you ever watched a dog really sniff? You can see that that dog is having like pictures in its mind when it sniffs. So much information is happening. He says it's really remarkable. He says you should really see what goes on. Okay, we are sniffing you. We see your whole story. He says just relax and let it happen. Relax and let it happen. Become the great product of the ethers that you are. And relax. He said, even if you are moving on out of your physical body, he says there is no problem. Even if a loved one is moving out, there is no problem. It is the natural course of events. He says, let the tangles go. Let the tangles go so that you may find the joy, so that you may find the evolution, so that you may find the deeper, wider, greater experience of this beauty and purity that is you. He says, and we're here to help. We're here. We're here. Keep up the breath. He says, and now allow yourself to let go to neutral, and be the greatness that you are. Be the greatness that you are by humbly accepting the true help. Accept the true help. Let it go, let it be. I know you've heard 100,000 times, let go and let God. He says, this is it. He says, this is the greatest stress pill that you could ever find. The greatest stress pill of all history. The miracle formula. I'm not kidding. He says, this is the miracle formula. Breathe. Let the stress go. And let the trust arise. This is not hanging on trust. Okay, Baba Siri Chand, you're going to do this for me. I know you're going to do this. He says, no. He says, you're still creating a tangle when you do that. He says, it is a gentle offering. A gentle offering. It may be unloading a whole 10-ton truck of crap. He said, that's fine. He says, but let it go. Okay? Let it go. Let it be.
Hey, Larry.
And now, how do you feel? How do you feel when you let go?
Okay, no problem. The guys are working.
Okay.
The guys are working in your office, so.
So now, dear ones, he says,
all right,
now, dear ones.
I'll take care of it.
There's somebody talking in the background? Okay. Please.
That's fine. Okay, bye.
Okay. Okay, the person is back now. Okay, please let go. And now, my dear ones, he says, it is the time to share. It is the time to share. So, who can come forward first to share?
Siri Gian?
Yes, dear. Who is this?
Brahmane?
Yes, dear.
I can share?
Please.
Thank you. When we were invited to get clear on what we wanted, what there was issue around, what came up for me was this huge image of a really messy, gooey, yucky tangle of stuff that is how I see traditional Christianity right now. That for whatever reason I'm involved in the evolution of that. And so then bringing in
wait a minute. What's happening here? Is somebody doing something loud near your telephone? Okay, please go ahead, Rahman.
Yeah, so there's this messy, funky tangle, and then bringing in Baba Siri Chand and the Love Troops. And
the Love Troops. Okay.
Yeah. And then the threads of the entanglement started loosening and brightening in color. And
wait a minute, Rahmani, I'm sorry. There's just so much noise.
Yes, part of
I'm
the
going
entanglement.
Those are the entanglements.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to mute the whole class, and then I want you to press *6 so that we can continue, okay? Hold on.
Are we back?
Okay. Rahmani, are you there?
I am.
Oh, good. Okay, please continue.
So the threads then became more like a wave, harmonious waves, like on an ocean, or in a fabric where the threads are paralleling each other or intertwining in a graceful way. And then the threads became the sacred languages, expressing Gurmukhi and in Hebrew and Aramaic and Chinese and Arabic, so that energy went from the entangled, funky mass to these cohesive waves of energy, and then it became articulated as living word, and it was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. What does that mean by living word? You know, the Bible says in the beginning was the word and so on. It's
like the Shabbat in Sikhism. I think it's when the primal consciousness of the Adi Shakti through our breath then becomes articulated as human word. And it's a word that carries the totality of reality in both its unmanifested mystery and also in its very practical manifested level.
Very good. You know, the scientists now are saying that all of creation is made from, it starts as a vibration, like a sound vibration. And of course that vibration comes from the consciousness. So all together, that may be the word. In the finite and in the infinite. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much for your sharing, your contribution.
Thank you.
Okay, who else can share? And remember to press *6.
This is Lisa.
Lisa, yes.
Hi. I want to let you know I booked an appointment with you yesterday morning. Can you say your name again?
Siri Gian Kaur.
Siri Gian Kaur. Yes, yesterday morning for next week. And it was just interesting because right after I booked the session, I felt very blissed out and expansive for a while. And then I was feeling, could my life really be so sweet and exquisite and like all the good things coming in? And then I just, all of a sudden, an incident occurred, and I fell into extreme worry and anxiety for the rest of the day, and feeling like I'm blocking myself and, you know, allowing the self-doubt to come in. And still, even this morning, I'm aware of a plate kind of over my heart. And
what over your heart?
Well, it just feels that my heart is shut down, and I've been just stuck. I want to keep turning it over, you know, worrying about my 2 boys, worrying about my husband, worrying sometimes, am I doing enough as a human person? Because I'm happy to, I can hardly hear with the noise in the background or concentrate, but.
I'm sorry, I don't have control over it now.
Okay.
Listen, are you on your cell phone?
I'm not. I'm on my house phone.
I don't know what that is.
But I can stop. I can mute myself. I'm just saying that we can talk more next week.
Okay. But I'm really good. What happened this morning? Can you just say briefly what happened this morning to the tangle?
Yeah. Just worried about my 8-year-old son, that he can be so moody and go into a dark place, and just a tangle with my husband, and I don't know, just my heart feels shut down, like I can just get. So I just need to be with it, I think, and allow. Yes, just what you said. The class is perfect.
Okay, and you can do that, right?
Yes.
Good. Keep it up. Mother Siri
Yes,
Chand,
exactly.
my dear, keep it up, especially until our session next week.
I will.
Okay? Make it a practice.
I will. Thank you.
Make it be fun.
I will make it be fun.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, okay, now Lisa, will you press *6 again?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Now, who else can share?
I can share.
Yes,
This is Jerry. This is Jerry and Juneau.
Oh, hi, Jerry.
Hey.
Yes,
Well,
what can you share?
Pardon me?
I said, what can you share? We're listening.
Okay. There's a lot of screaming in the background, so I hope everybody can hear because
Sorry about that. Jerry, are you there?
Yes. I just.
Okay, now let me ask you, Jerry, hold on a minute.
Okay.
Anybody who is not Jerry at this moment, if you have pressed *6, press *6 again so that you are muted. Okay. Good.
Okay.
Jerry?
Yes. Okay, thank you. And I just wanted just to share that I really got it, yesterday about the worry. I just submitted a proposal for a potential job. Basically created some, could possibly turn into something really great for me and something that I'm in line with and things that I love to do, which is to market an event planning service, at this local hall here in Juneau. And it was a beautiful proposal. I mean, I really knocked it out of the park. And so here I am yesterday, should be feeling on top of the world, and had, I call it a brigade of friends behind me, to help me edit or help me, develop my proposal and gave me direction. And so here I am worrying, oh, are they going to take me, And I really got into my head yesterday, and then I just said, stop. Jerry, just stop. And what I did to turn that situation around is I wrote in my journal, I call it my gratitude journal, and wrote down all the things I'm grateful for, all the people who've helped me, everything that I've done up to this point to be able to submit a proposal like that. And I just figured, if this doesn't work out, there's something else out there for me. And because if this ain't the one that's going to, fulfill me or be the right, situation, then I don't want it. I want something that's going to be in line with who I am now. And so after I did that and I did my heart breath, wrote in my journal, walked around my home, I just have a small condo, but just appreciating every little thing that I have. And boom, that mood lifted.
Wow.
It just lifted, and so I woke up this morning and said, man, this is a new day, and I can really create whatever it is I want. So I think just taking into account and looking at, what I have and what I'm grateful for. So,
oh, lovely.
Yeah, it was a good situation yesterday.
Oh, I'm glad for you. And
yeah.
Don't forget to call him Baba Siri Chand as well.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And it turned a bad day of worry into like, wow. This was a good day. Even though I worried a lot, I said this was like one of the best days I learned. I got it.
That's fabulous. And now you won't forget it.
No.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
God bless you, dear. Thank you.
Satnam.
Yes.
Param Dayan.
Yes, dear.
How are you? Well, this is the interesting part. I have been practicing the first part of turning it over, and you know me, I've been trusting it, and literally, I find myself in obsessive thinking and just surrender that. I mean, I do this every day, sometimes every hour.
Mhm.
And I ask for, sometimes I ask for specifics like feeling more gratitude and joy, but mostly I just want to be relieved of all this habitual thinking that it's unhealthy. And so I have been enlisting. What came up for me while this was going on, and there were some tears involved of recognition, that I have not been receiving as well. It's not that I don't have, it's that the universe is trying to give me more. Baba Siri Chand is trying to give me more. Guru Ram Das, the universe is just really, trying, but I'm not allowing as much because there's some kind of unconscious lack of self-worth.
Lack of what?
Self-worth.
Self-worth, okay.
Yes, that's kind of the fly in the ointment. It's like the universe can, it's like, it could be like I'm asking for rain for my crops, but I have, like a wall that doesn't allow the rain to come through, or a roof that doesn't allow. So it's the thing is that I've been trying to work on that by myself. And I just heard surrender that too, and just let us teach you how to love yourself. And
how lovely.
And I kind of suspected that, but it was different to just feel that. If I'll be very honest. There's a little fear in there because it's kind of like there's it's true what that saying that goes around the internet for years now that I remember one time I got the same email like 5 times in one day. I got the message that we're more scared of our light and our greatness than we are of our failures and our smallness. And that is scary. And it's like there's a part of me that is excited like a little child and a tail wagging dog. And there's another part of me that feels overwhelmed and scared. And it's the same reason why I think I've been keeping, intimate love at bay for the last few years. I mean, I was a relationship junkie for many years, and in the last few, I keep everything really distant. I think there's some part of me not feeling the self-worth. And all of this started happening exactly when I asked Spirit, I wanted to be the best teacher and the best healer I possibly could, and that's when the stuff hit the fan.
Because those are the tangles to clear up, right?
Exactly. I knew it, and I've been reminded it's like a scene from a movie that I remember in my third eye every time stuff hits the fan. It's like you asked to be the best teacher and the best healer you could be, There you go. And so I'm sharing this in part because just saying it changes shape, but also because I think that's the fly in the ointment for a lot of us, is that really lifting up the self-worth to the newer level. Not that I don't feel worthy, but for the new level of what I'm to receive and participant of, I need to just let go more and more and more. And I'm kind of like that person who tries to lose weight before they start going to the gym. It's like I'm trying to feel more worthy before going to Spirit, and it's not that. It's like, take that to Spirit.
You got it, girl. You got it.
I'll admit
that's where the humility comes
hurting
in.
right now. It doesn't feel good yet.
But that's where the humility comes in, doesn't it?
And I leave lots of those. I have Mercury and Leo. It makes me ego bound. But yeah.
That's hard. So becoming the best teacher ever has to do with being able to hold the space on the one hand, but on the other hand, totally, absolutely, humbly listening.
Oh, the best teacher I can be, not the best teacher ever. I'm careful with that one. I'm not competitive. The best teacher that I came here to be. Because, some people came in here to be glorious, magnificent, open teachers, and there's some of us who came for a different, and the best teacher I can be, the best healer I can be, because those two go together a lot with me. I can't separate them.
Very good. Very good. Okay, thank you for making that distinction.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we have just about 2 more minutes. Who can share? star 6.
Sure, again, it's Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi. I think I can share, it's on the simple side, but for me it is allowing others to help me. I have so many, I don't know so much, and I have to have the answers, and I need to rely on other people, the professionals or whatever they are coming into my life to know that they're there to help me.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about the like Baba Siri Chand? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, yeah, but I think it manifests that. Yes, I can do that quicker than anything. Than allowing people. That's a standby. That people are coming into my life to help me because I don't have the answers, but I get asked the questions, and that the help is coming, and trust that the help is coming, and it is a physical form. Not that it can be very much in a physical form.
Right.
Right. And trust that it's coming.
Mhm. And have you had experience with that manifesting?
Yeah, so I should trust it more and more. I guess the lady from Juneau described it a lot like a son who needs this. And I have a son who needs a job, and I see self-worth wavering. I can't give him the self-worth. I can pray for him, I can meditate for him, but he's got to do it himself. Or in my job, coming up with the right answers. Yes, staying relaxed. Know that I'm going to be guided, and the guiding can come through a person, someone here, that keeping open and realizing that you are being helped constantly is very reassuring.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, I'm learning to hang on to it more and more.
Good. Do you think you can share that with your son?
Well, I simply live it. I would think it would go in, but if you don't have self-worth, it is that wall that Kamdi mentioned, that it's a wall, but you just keep being that, and maybe it opens or lets down the wall.
Yeah, give it over. Maybe you would like to teach it to him.
Oh, I do. I mean...
Oh, good.
Well, I get the crazy look. I get the crazy look like, oh, not again. I know what it sounds like, but it's all I got.
Well, we've all been there, done that.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, God bless you, dear. We'll put our breath behind it as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, and thanks to everybody who has shared and has, whether you voiced out on the phone call or whether you are participating in the energies, it's just wonderful to have everybody. So keep up. He says, you have homework. He says, keep this up. He says, don't compartmentalize this. Don't forget it. He says, keep it up is a very rigorous study, he says. Do it so that you can get it. Okay. So, everybody, please sit straight, palms together, and sing this very precious song to one another. We are here to help each other, and please stay with us as we do this closing. Very important. Okay. Inhale. May the long time shine upon all around you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Bow to your infinity. Feel cozy with us. We are together. We are the one. God bless you all, and talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.